the issue we're here to talk is about transformation, right? So first, let's start with that. Let's get started. I'll stop here. Legal counsel and all that, we'll stop it here. Go ahead. My name is Yoav. I did start this company. I'm always fascinated to see how many people are interested to hear what we have to say, especially those know much more than us about what we do. The digital marketing world, it's a world of its own, many possibilities. It started with search. High and below, it was very solid to understand how to drive conversions. But the climate is changing. Whether we like it or we don't, it's happening. And as such, with all this mist, it's becoming really hard. The inventory and the auction is becoming harsher and harsher. And thus, we find ourselves looking down below, looking for other areas. One of those, which most of you in the audience is not yet tapping, is geo, or SMB aggregations. So if you're an agency or service company, you have a greenfield which you're not yet using. And if you're a large advertiser, bidding by location is actually a cool technique to get higher ROI and relevancy. The thing about local, when and if you do it, you understand that from necessity comes excellence. It's a lot about trialing and error. It's a lot about reacting fast. It's a lot about automation. It's a lot about trying to strategize what's going to happen because you just can't afford to lose. So we encourage you to look into this, what we call local, but the technique of whether location or SMB is something that should yield towards incremental growth for you as companies. And as I said, proficiencies in running campaigns. The thing about local is that it's still caged within the publishing environment we knew, which is search and Google. And then something happened. The year of 2010, Grady, which is not yet not here in the audience, came to me and said, hey, we're building something big. It's called social. I said, all right, let's start and climb it. What started as a very small, kind of a local of a tree, became something fundamental that all of us are now looking at. And like anything that you don't know where it's really going, it has its opportunities, it has its risks. Some of you in the audience is doing an awesome job leveraging social. Others are still struggling. And it's, again, a good evidence for what's happening when things are changing fast. Some of us react, embrace, and go. Some of us are waiting for those that are trialing to kind of make up their minds. And some of us are busy protecting what we knew. And nature forced death for a reason. A way to evolve is actually to stop doing something that you've done and start doing something else, something fresh, something new. And I think social reminded that all of us about that. The thing is, good things come in twos. So the ability to capture intent and drive interactions all of a sudden was in a tip of a fingerprint, if you want, because of technologies like Kenshoo. And to be honest, it's not anymore search and social. A lot of it has to do with new publishing techniques like Gemini, which are delivering a totally different experience than either of the two. And this is where this infinity thing comes into play. You want to be very specific, you want to be very broad, the consumer is there, as Ted just mentioned. All you need to do is figure out the right time with the right message to take on. As this becomes this cross-channel thing, one thing became apparent. The focus of the user, the focus of the consumer was missed. All of us in this room should acknowledge the fact that we were looking at data as data. We never activated our brain in order to really understand what does that mean, to really understand, can we cage it, can we form it, can we capitalize on it? And this is where the attribution, this is where the forecasting, the predictive mechanisms, all that come into play. And I find it pretty funny where people say, you know, I'm building my audiences based on cookies, while all of us have CRM systems in which we know our users even better than any cookie matching. And I advise you to think about data not as weeds, but rather as flowers. Think of all the possibilities this withholds. Think about everything that you might be doing with it. Sometimes, again, as pieces of information, but sometimes as a whole, full strategy. So, you know, as we are at that point in time in which, cool, we have cross-channel and we have data utilization, we can translate it into strategies, and, you know, we can enjoy the view and activate it. We got it all figured out, right? Well, wrong. The thing is, again, as you look up, as you stop being busy about yourself and what you do and how you do it, but rather try to predict what's going to happen, something else happened. And this is mobile. Mobile has redefined and rechanged the consumers and the advertisers and the whole space in a form that in the last 5, 6, 7 years, we haven't seen. No longer we are on a stable soil. We are down the water. And as any ocean, blue or red, it all depends who you are. If you can adopt, if you are bold, if you can take a leap forward, you're going to be that shark enjoying the blue ocean. If you're going to be stagnant, if you're going to be protective, you're probably not going to be kind of winning the war. But what's next? Well, the winds will blow and things will change. In the future, the way we see it, it's about bonding. It's about trying to define aligned agenda items where we, as technology, as researchers, can come in and really be attentive to what you're trying to achieve. And as this will bond and melt together, we will gain momentum. And we will be able to come up with ideas that not we think or you think, it's together. And the thing about kind of floating with the rhythm, if you want, is that it takes you places. And I can definitely attest to a couple of initiatives in Kenshoo that we managed to come up with only because of that bonding. Ladies and gentlemen, we honestly think you are not anymore caged to any one channel. You're not anymore chained to any one publisher. It's going to be about what you are trying to achieve, connecting with your consumers, whether it's about new to file or lifetime value. Absorbing that change, taking that leadership, we hope you will become leaders, or may I say, stay leaders. Thank you.